The collapse of the Soviet Union is often remembered as a political shock, a sudden implosion that caught the world by surprise. But like all major systemic failures, the Soviet collapse was not sudden. It was the final stage of a long economic erosion. Decades before the flag was lowered over the Kremlin, the Soviet economic model had already stopped functioning as a productive system. What remained was a structure that consumed resources faster than it could generate them, sustained by control, coercion, and illusion rather than real economic strength. At the heart of the Soviet system was central planning. Production targets were decided by bureaucrats, not markets. Prices did not signal scarcity. Profits did not guide investment. The system could mobilize labor and resources on a massive scale, but it could not measure efficiency. Output existed, but productivity lagged. Waste became invisible. Success was defined by meeting quotas, not by creating value. Over time, this distortion accumulated quietly, weakening the entire economic structure. Nowhere were these inefficiencies more visible than in agriculture. Despite vast land and labor, Soviet farms consistently failed to feed the population efficiently. Collective ownership removed incentives. Innovation stalled. Food shortages became routine. An economy that could build rockets struggled to distribute bread. This contradiction was not accidental, it was structural. When incentives disappear, productivity follows. Chronic shortages define daily life. Consumers adapted by waiting, hoarding, and relying on informal networks. The black market became a parallel economy, filling gaps the state could not. Official statistics claimed stability. Reality showed stagnation. When an economy requires unofficial systems to function, it is already failing. The state responded not by reforming incentives, but by expanding bureaucracy. Planning became more complex. Controls multiplied. Instead of flexibility, rigidity increased. Every solution added another layer of inefficiency. The system grew heavier, slower, and less adaptive. Military spending absorbed enormous resources. Competing with the West required constant allocation toward defense. Consumer industries suffered. Innovation skewed toward military applications. The economy became unbalanced. Strong in destruction, weak in creation. By the 1970s, the contrast with Western economies became undeniable. While market economies increased productivity through innovation, the Soviet system stagnated. Growth slowed. Living standards plateaued. Ideology could no longer mask economic reality. Oil exports temporarily delayed collapse. Energy revenues financed imports and masked inefficiencies. But this was not reform, it was postponement. When oil prices fell, the illusion shattered. Structural weakness reappeared immediately. Capital stock deteriorated. Machines aged. Infrastructure decayed. Without profit signals, investment was misallocated. The economy consumed its past rather than building its future. Reforms arrived too late. Perestroika attempted partial market mechanisms without dismantling central control. The result was chaos. Prices lost meaning. Output collapsed. Trust evaporated. Once credibility disappears, economic systems unravel quickly. Enterprises stopped producing. Supply chains broke. The state lost fiscal control. Collapse accelerated. Political collapse followed economic failure. Authority without resources cannot survive. The system had no economic foundation left to support power. The union dissolved not through invasion, but exhaustion. Economic reality overruled ideology. By 1991, collapse was inevitable. The system had already failed. The Soviet Union did not fall because it changed. It fell because it waited too long to change. Economic systems survive by adapting. When adaptation stops, collapse becomes inevitable. The Soviet collapse reminds us that power without productivity is temporary, and that economic reality always has the final word.